Hello and welcome everybody to North American Grand Prix Round 8 Assetto Corsa GT2 League, coming to you live from Macau tonight on NAGP TV. We welcome you to another exciting round. I think one of the first things I want to do here tonight is to our viewers apologize. Last week we had some technical difficulties which unfortunately ended our broadcast a little bit early, and unfortunately it was due to circumstances that were way beyond our control. So again, I just want to apologize to our viewer, but certainly tonight what will probably be the league's toughest challenge to date, round 8 of the North American Grand Prix Assetto Corsa GT2 League, takes place this evening on the tight streets of Macau nonetheless. Last week at Mugello, Ian Jolicoeur, he fended off a late threat from Chris Moses in the closing laps of the race, and in the process snatched his first career Assetto Corsa League win. Jolicoeur led 42 of the scheduled 47 laps and finished the race 1.5 seconds ahead of second place Moses. Al Merriman took the final step on the podium just over 5 seconds back. Tonight, NAGP will be your home for complete coverage of tonight's race from Macau. The evening begins tonight with 25 minutes of qualifying, followed immediately afterwards by a 250-kilometer race. What does that translate into? Well, around these streets, that's about 40 laps around the streets of Macau. Nothing to shake a stick at, nothing to laugh at, folks. So with that, to leave Macau with points will be important for those in title contention. Given the nature of the circuit, this is especially true for the Drivers' Championship leader Brad Maris and the Team Championship leader PMR. For the spectators, tonight's broadcast will certainly be entertaining. For the drivers, well, that will all depend on the outcome. So we're glad that you're able to tune in tonight, and we welcome you once again as we get started here for the evening. And so we're still in the practice session, but we are anticipating switching over shortly to the quali session. So we've seen some lap times at the 2-minute 27-second range for really fast-paced Al Merriman, who said that in late practice here tonight. And no doubt David Poole, who is been quick here during qualifying on most occasions, is he has his eyes set on the fast lap times as well. And so it looks like we're getting ready to hopefully switch over here to the quali session. So let's go ahead and while we're waiting for us to switch over to the quali session, let's bring up a track map of the Macau circuit. This circuit, daunting nonetheless, tight, twisty, mountainous area, 24-turn course. Start finish right there before the reservoir bend. One area of contention for a lot of these drivers here tonight is going to be turn 2, Mandarin Bend. This is a flat-out 6th gear circuit where timing and entry, apex, and exit are crucial, especially if you're in the draft. In the draft, you can get caught out there, and next thing you know, you're drifting out towards the outside wall, and it could be game over for you. You just never know. You got to pay attention here, folks. Turn 3, it's hard on the brakes and down into 2nd gear, and that sets you up for going into the mountainous area, San Francisco Hill, Maternity Bend, Solitude S's, and no doubt Faraway Hill. Turn 20, the daunting hairpin turn at turn 20, which is the Melco hairpin. These guys swing wide, first gear, not easy at all. So we're going to go ahead and start jumping on board with some of these guys out here right now. We're going to take it back to the action. go ahead and bring up P-Tracker for you viewers, and never mind that it shows my name in first. These guys are all on outlaps right now, and they're out there warming up their tires around this circuit. And you know, speaking of tires, that's going to be another area of concern for a lot of these drivers. These tight, twisty streets of Macau, the Macau circuit, certainly are hard on tires. The lateral G-forces expounded on these tires certainly make for heavy tire wear, especially in the tight, twisty, mountainous terrain and the rough road surface of the Macau circuit. So on board with Brad Maris right now. Brad Maris on an outlap, but to give you folks an indication and some type of an idea just how difficult these streets of Macau are, you'll see here these guys are hugging those apexes as close as possible. One thing to be wary of is those barriers. Those barriers do not move. They don't give. They are 100% solid, and these cars are not. Swinging wide into the hairpin turn. Yep, Brad Maris establishing his gap to Jon Ludden, who is just out in front of him. Through turn 23. And now the final turn before the start and finish straight. And so we're going to stay on board with Brad Maris, our resident driving instructor here at the North American Grand Prix. Turn 2 ever crucial. Oh, and Brad nearly loses it as he slides through turn 3. So on board with Brad Maris as he passes David Poole, who pulled it over to the side there just a few corners ago. A lot of these top fast drivers make this circuit look easy. I can tell you from experience, having driven here several times in GTR2, that's certainly not the case. Car setup, driving line, ever important here. Al Merriman with a fast lap of 2 minutes 25 seconds, certainly faster than what we've seen here in late practice session just before the quali. Jon Ludden with a 226. Brad Maris going to come across the stripe with a 228. So Brad Maris having some time to make up there. Brad Maris going to pull it over to the side as Al Merriman leaves the pits right now to start his other outlap. And Al Merriman, your early pace setter. Let's see if we can catch up with Mr. Merriman. on board with Al. Jon Ludden posting a 226, and Brad Maris in third with that 228. Tom Schubeck still out there with a 246, and Chris Moses in fifth with a 250. So a lot of guys having some attrition problems here during qualifying, smacking those side barriers, those walls. Boy, I gotta tell you, it's gotta be daunting nonetheless. These drivers accustomed to being fast on most road circuits, but Macau certainly will test the mettle of even the fastest drivers around here at the NAGP League. So your provisional pole sitter Al Merriman right now on an out lap. Let's see who else we can catch up with here. So Brian Mongrain, I believe, joining us for the first time here on Thursday night, Assetto Corsa GT2 League. Brian Mongrain, who has in times past joined us for our Monday night and previously Thursday night GT1 racing. No stranger here to the North American Grand Prix. As he follows Bjorn Heyman around the track. Third gear sweeper on to the front, start finish straight. Coming up. And here your exit speed is all important so you can make up precious tenths. So a quick look at your current running order with about 16 minutes and 45 seconds in qualifying left to go. Your provisional pole sitter Al Merriman with a 225.8 and Jon Ludden with a 226.4. Aaron Parsons now jumping up to the third spot with a 226.7, and Kreshna Khalili sitting in fourth with a 227 flat. Brad Maris now drops down to fifth with a 228.7. John McIntyre up to sixth with a 230 point flat. Matt Taylor 231. Eighth is Thomas Schubeck with a 246. Chris Moses struggling a bit with a 250.9. And David Poole also sharing in the struggles with a 253.9. Bjorn Heyman with a 3 flat. Brian Mongrain with a 302. John Houston a 308. John Wathen still out there, not having posted any time. Now on board with John Houston as he comes through the hairpin turn. Swing out wide and hug that inside barrier. Try and get out of there as quick as you can. John Houston is currently sitting in 13th. And now David Poole jumping up to 5th spot with a 227.864. John Houston with a 232, still a bit off the pace for John Houston. John Houston certainly feeling the effects of the Assetto Corsa GT2 League here. John Houston just this past Monday, having celebrated a podium finish in GTR2 at the famed circuit that we ran last Monday, Anderstorp. Al Merriman, Jon Ludden, Aaron Parsons, Kreshna Khalili, and now David Poole. That's your top 5. Second 5, Thomas Schubeck, Brad Maris, John McIntyre, Matt Taylor, and John Houston. Chris Moses certainly feeling the effects here, having the trouble. He's sitting in 11th with a 250.9. Bjorn Heyman still with a 3 flat. Brian Mongrain a 302. And now Brad Maris with a personal best of a 225.196 jumps out to provisional pole. Just over 13 minutes of qualifying left. Oh, and we have Jeremy Bryant that has now joined us. Good stuff, Jeremy. And Mr. Ackerman. Sorry for bringing this up, folks. I just have to make a quick adjustment here, so I apologize for that. Alright, so getting back to the action here. I apologize, folks, that have to make some in-race adjustments here because it doesn't seem that I have everybody listed that should be out on track. So we're going to have to get that fixed before the race session starts. Hopefully we can get that fixed for you. Oh, as Brad Maris touches the wall. So now Jon Ludden taking it up to the top with a 224.456. Unbelievable for Jon Ludden. Aaron Parsons sitting in 4th place with the Sunburst BMW. Aaron Parsons racing with the NAGP out of Australia. We call him the Wonder from Down Under. Aaron Parsons, one of our top contenders for the Driver Championship in Monday night's GT2 Race League. One half of the T-Broke Damn Bam racing team with John Houston on Monday nights. Matt Taylor currently sitting in 9th. Bit of a bobble there from Chris Moses. as Al Merriman finds the barrier. So yeah, not exactly sure why I'm not showing John Ackerman and some of the other folks on the P tracker. I'm wondering if we might have to upgrade that. Even Mike Greatrix, who is in the server, I do not see him up on P tracker, so something I'll have to get with the admin folks around here with. So, but nonetheless, it doesn't stop us from bringing you guys the live action. We got Brian Mongrain out there, and as a result, we're going to go ahead and bring up the standings down below. In hopes that we might be able to help identify who's doing what on the track. So, anyway, getting back out there to the action. Thomas Schubeck currently sitting in 7th, his best of a 2:28.103. Johnny Mac McIntyre qualified 8th right now with a 2:29.436. 7.5 minutes to go in qualifying. We'll give a little love here to Bjorn Heyman. You know, when Jack and I used to broadcast the Thursday night GT1 races, we always used to give kudos to this driver. Bjorn Heyman, week after week, out there, mixing it up with the best of them. You know, he hasn't won an NAGP race yet. It's certainly not outside of his reach, especially here in Assetto Corsa. But this man is just consistent week after week out there, turning laps, getting better, and showing market improvement. So, way to go, Bjorn. Brad Maris currently sitting in 2nd place. We'll take it to the cockpit view with Brad. We've got 6 minutes left on the clock for qualifying, and then it'll be over to the race session. Brad Maris through the hilly tight twisties here. 2nd, 3rd gear, back down to 2nd and 1st at times, and man, oh man, I tell you, this track certainly takes a lot of concentration. You take your eyes off that track for one moment, and I tell you, you will be in a barrier somewhere. And it'll get worse if you got some drivers behind you, because reaction times here count for nothing, man. These guys can race so tight sometimes, but they'll get up one behind the other. One bobble and you'll have 3 or 4 cars coming into the side of you. So from what you viewers can see, 40 laps around this place, no easy task, I tell you. Oh, as Brad finds the barrier. Jon Ludden, still your provisional pole sitter. 224, 456. And Brad Maris is knocking on the door of a 224. We'll have to see if Brad Maris is going to go back out there. Chris Moses pulling it off on the front straightaway. So yeah, these drivers tonight, certainly they've got their work cut out for them. This is not going to be easy. The start is probably going to be a little chaotic for these guys. Just under 3 minutes left to go in qualifying. Oh, scrape of the outside barrier. On board with your provisional pole sitter, Jon Ludden, as he works that wheel. Coming around turn 23, heading for turn 24, and the home stretch. Third gear sweeper, getting on that throttle as quick as you can is key here. Yep, no, and John, no improvement there with the 226, so no doubt he'll be pulling it into the pits. And it looks like a lot of guys have now come back into the pits as a result of qualifying coming near an end. Still 1 minute and 21 seconds left to go. Yep, and it looks like everybody's in, so well, except for David Poole. David Poole out there trying to give it his one last best shot, but it looks like that is going to be the end of qualifying. As I believe we have mere seconds left to go. Yep. So 24 seconds of qualifying left to go. Chris Moses probably going out there to try and practice his start. That's exactly what it looks like he's doing. Chris Moses will be starting from 5th. And here we go, folks. So we are going to take it to the race session. And this is really straightforward, guys. It's us having to wait for the green lights to come on. I will have to escape to the pits, folks. So just know that the moment those lights go off, Ken will be escaping to the pits, and then I can get back out there and bring you guys the live action. Unfortunately, a shortcoming of the Assetto Corsa game at the time. We are certainly hoping that the Kuno Simulazioni gets a glimpse of our broadcast so they can make improvements. So when the lights come on, you will start hearing these engines rev. Looks like everybody's in a BMW tonight, and certainly the car that suits this track is the BMW because of its nimbleness. Anything other than the BMW will probably cause you some havoc around here. So we are waiting for the start. The lights have come on. The engines are about to start revving. And once they go off, it is to the pits for me. As all the drivers take off. Oh, we have chaos going on after turn 2. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look at, oh geez Louise. These guys, oh, this is just not good. John Houston, Bjorn Heyman, John McIntyre, Tom Schubeck, Jack Ivey, Great Tricks, Mongrain, all of these guys getting caught up in some type of a melee there. We did not see exactly what happened, but we have guys that are dropping already. Oh, and they're still trying to sort themselves out back there. John McIntyre turned backwards on the straight. Oh, that is just so bad. So now Al Merriman taking over the lead. We're going to go out to the front leaders. Al Merriman blazing fast. Gets around Jon Ludden. Sorry that we missed that, folks. We're going to take a look at Jon Ludden, get on board with Jon Ludden and see what's going on here. As he chases your race leader, Al Merriman, and take into account there, these guys have not completed one lap yet. So it's Al Merriman, Jon Ludden, David Poole in third, Brad Maris, Kreshnik Halili. Oh, Kreshnik up to fifth. Way to go, Kreshnik. You hang in there with them, buddy, and give them hell. Aaron Parsons, the wonder from down under, as they go through that dreaded hairpin turn. It is quick on the accelerator, so Aaron Parsons now looking at the back of Kreshnik Halili's bumper. Aaron Parsons, certainly one of our veteran drivers here at the North American Grand Prix. Aaron Parsons knows that, you know what, this is a 250-kilometer race, 40 laps. You don't need to win the race on the first lap, guys. You don't need to. You got to give each other some space to race. First lap melees, I just don't know. So, taking it out front with your race leader, Al Merriman. Looks like Al Merriman's starting to increase a gap now between he and second place, Jon Ludden. Boy, and we are now down to 17 drivers, waiting for P-Tracker to update. These drivers have completed one lap of 40. And again, guys, I'm sorry that I have to bring this up, but there's a setting that I need to fix here because I'm only showing Al Merriman's times up there. So There we go. So I apologize for that, folks. Let's get rid of this now. So yeah, we're showing 16 drivers on the server through P-Tracker. That could be different, but now Jon Ludden, we are looking at Jon Ludden, who is starting to make inroads to Al Merriman's position as they go around another Beamer that is stuck there at the hairpin. Oh, a huge bobble by Jon Ludden. Gonna give David Poole an opportunity to close in on that gap and on this battle for first. So 1, 2, and 3 running fairly close. As they start on lap 3. Kreshnik Khalili now inherits 4th. Brad Maris is down to 5. Matt Taylor in 7th and Brian Mongrain up to 8th. Mike Greatrix in 9th. Oh, Bjorn Heyman must have had a collision with the wall as he is limping back into the pits. Oh, he pulls it over. Gonna let Jack Ivy get by. Go on, Jack. Oh, so Bjorn Heyman trying ever so softly to get himself back to the pits for repairs. Jeremy Bryant now up to 11th. Back out with your race leader, Jon Ludden and David Poole. 1, 2, 3 running close together. Guys, there's still a lot of racing left, believe it or not. Here on the streets of Macau circuit, coming through the hairpin. Oh, David Poole nearly gets into the back of Jon Ludden. Nearly gets himself into the barrier. Has to get heavy on the brakes and compose himself. Just got to put your head back down and get back on it. Having a look as 1 and 2 come down into turn 3. So Jon Ludden not willing to let Al Merriman too far out of his sights, but let me tell you folks this, Al Merriman has been putting in a lot of work in this series, and the work that he's been putting in is certainly showing off here. He's got that car hooked up here around the Macau street circuit. Jon Ludden right up on the rear bumper of Al Merriman. Race for the lead. Oh, Jon Ludden getting real close to that inside barrier, nearly puts it in there. So Al, with nothing but clear track ahead of him, and Jon Ludden sandwiched between Al and David Poole. He's got to keep his eye out on the leader, and he's got a mirror full of David Poole right now. Not an easy position to be in. Hard on the brakes and down into second gear for turn 3. So David Poole now running third, and Brad Maris up to fourth. Aaron Parsons up to 5. Matt Taylor to 6. Something happened to good old Kreshnik. Let's bring up our P-Tracker and see what the dealio is here. We've got, according to what I'm seeing, we've got 13 running cars. John Houston in 13th, and we're going to have to verify that. So we're showing Mike Greatrix in 8th. Jack Ivey now is in 9th as, whoa, wait a minute, no, he drops that down to 10th as Jeremy Bryant goes past Jack Ivey. Not sure how much practice Jack Ivey got before tonight's race. Jeremy Bryant's going to go ahead and take over that 9th spot. And your top 3 still running very close together. These guys, it looks like they... Oh! David Poole trying to take it on the inside, gets into the inside barrier. Getting a little too aggressive there on his cornering techniques. But it looks like for the most part, this first stint, 1, 2, and 3 are going to remain the same. These guys are just kind of playing follow the leader around this circuit. Now Aaron Parsons. Aaron Parsons is starting to close the gap a little bit up to Brad Maris. And it looks like we may be having a two-way battle for 4th. Matt Taylor sitting in 6th. Brian Mongrain in 7th. Mike Greatrix currently running in 8th, top 10. Very good. Jeremy Bryant, Jack Ivey. Now we know Bjorn Heyman is running in 11th and Tom Schubeck in 12th. John Houston, I believe, might be out the race, but has decided to pull it into the pits. Let's go on board with Aaron Parsons. David Poole running in third now with a race best lap time of a 2:29 flat. So lap time starting to come down as the fuel load starts to lighten. Yeah, so you know what? The winner of this race, it's certainly going to come down to pit strategy and the driving ability and the consistency here at Macau is going to pay off big dividends to those that find that consistency. So this is the battle for fourth. Aaron Parsons trying to close that gap to Brad Maris. Brad Maris not giving an inch though. Looks like through the early part of Sector 1, Aaron Parsons able to close the gap slightly, but looks like Brad Maris might be the one who has the oomph through the mountainous terrain. Let's check out some other battles here, folks. See if we can get on board with somebody else that might be really close. So Al Merriman, Jon Ludden, and David Poole still your top three. Oh, so now Jack Ivey and Jeremy Bryan, once again, they swap spots, I believe. Let's see here. Or am I getting that backwards? Yeah, I might be getting that backwards. No, Jeremy Bryan still running in 9th and Jack Ivey in 10th. Mike Greatrix in 8th. Mike Greatrix coming across the start-finish line with a 2:36.9. Tom Schubeck in 12th. So it looks like we have lost nearly half our field to attrition. Here in the early going, there is still a lot of great racing to go, folks, and I think that Matt Taylor's in the pits. Who else? Yeah, I think it's just Matt Taylor that has pulled it in. So back out front, looks like the closest battle is right here. Jon Ludden and Al Merriman. Oh, and Aaron Parsons manages to get by Brad Maris for that 4th spot. Oh, sorry that we missed that, folks. But here we are on board with Brad Maris, and might have had a scrape with a wall. Not exactly sure what happened there. But we do know that the Wonder from Down Under did get by and is now running in 4th. And so the vicious cycle of motorsport racing goes, especially when you're racing on the streets of Macau. This is just one daunting track, folks. It really is. Race leader Al Merriman, boy, I gotta tell you, Al is putting on a driving clinic here tonight, Al. But now they are coming up on some lap traffic. Back marker of Jack Ivey. So Jack Ivey tasked here with a very difficult task of trying to move over for the race leaders. Jon Ludden now right up on the bumper of Al's car. happened there. Oh, Tom Schubeck. Not sure what's going on with Tom. Okay, so on board, Al Merriman taking it wide and then hugging it close for that hairpin turn. Boy, Jon Ludden must be like sharks smelling blood in the sea. Perhaps thought he might have had a shot of putting the moves on Al as they were going around Jack Ivy, but Al Merriman right back on his game. It's a game on its starting to pull away a little bit here and opening up the gap. And as I mentioned before, folks, race driving consistency is going to pay huge dividends here tonight. Al's certainly showing that he's got the stuff here tonight, as he has maintained the lead pretty much from the word go. And boy, I gotta tell you, we were expecting a barn burner of a race here tonight. Not the melee that happened 300 meters into this race, unfortunately, and I'm sure that the replay will be put up and it will be analyzed, and perhaps the competition committee is going to have their hands full here within the next 7 days after tonight's race to determine who was at fault, who's going to get penalized, and who's not. Perhaps one of the lesser glorious sides to auto racing is the competition committee's job of having to review races and hand out penalties, but you know, to keep this league as professional as it is, sometimes the hard jobs just have to be done. So we are still on board with Jon Ludden, who is trying to keep a close distance on your race leader, Al. And both these drivers very consistent here through the hilly areas. David Poole just a couple seconds back from Jon Ludden, running in third. And then you got Aaron Parsons running in fourth, Brad Maris in fifth. Brian Mongrain running in sixth. So Brian Mongrain right now pretty much out there alone, just kind of running his steady race. Brian Mongrain with a fast lap of a 2:34.3. And your top drivers, your top four drivers in the 2:29s early on here. Mike Graytrix in seventh spot. Good on you, Mike. Now, Mike also kind of running out there by himself. Nobody challenging him, and he's not challenging anybody at the moment. These things might change, however, after the pit rotations, and we hope to bring you that action as it happens. Jack Ivy running in 10th, the top 10 for Jack Ivy. Give him heck, Jack. Jeremy Bryant running in 8th. Matt Taylor in 9th. Oh, we've got a bit of a battle starting to brew here for that 8th spot. Jeremy Bryant, no doubt, having his rearview mirror full of Matt Taylor's car. And these guys are going to go at it here the next few corners. Oh, Matt Taylor gets the pass done. Jeremy Bryant, a coming under pressure and under fire by Matt Taylor is going to give up that spot. But you hang in there, Jeremy, and you just kind of follow him around as best as you can and just give him heck out there, you know? So here we are again. Let's go on board with Al Merriman as he comes up on some lap. Oh, we missed Al there. Let's see. Nope. And here we are. So Jeremy Bryant going to pull it over for the race leaders. Very gentlemanly thing to do. Al is just on a tear here tonight. Jon Ludden has been right there the entire time, so not exactly sure if Jon Ludden's strategy is to just let Al pull him around the track, maybe conserve tires a little bit, pit when the race leader pits, which I anticipate is probably going to happen around lap 20. That is my guess here. So your race leader, Al Merriman, still out front, coming up on some traffic up ahead. In the form of Matt Taylor. And boy, you know, I gotta tell you folks, passing here at the Macau circuit, unless somebody pulls over for you, extremely difficult. The widest parts of the track are all the way down there at the end of Sector 3, beginning of Sector 1. Kind of where you have those fast sweeping turns, which is perhaps the best area or the best part of the track where you're going to get a pass done. But this here, Sector 2, it's just nearly impossible to get a pass done, especially when you're vying for position with somebody else. Al having to get a little heavy on the brakes there, and Jon Ludden the same. Jon Ludden, it seems he can pull it up on Al's bumper when they're going into that hairpin turn, but Al, quick out of the gate, coming out of the hairpin, can open up the gap slightly by about a half a second there. Oh, and one of the cars goes backwards on the track. Might get a DQ for that. So it has been the Al and Jon Ludden show here tonight, folks. From the drop of the green flag, these two have been going at it tooth and nail. Now, let's see here. Who do we got running in third? So Aaron Parsons now up to third. Brad Maris in fourth. Brad just dropped there. Not exactly sure why Brad is starting to drop. Perhaps feeling the pressure of driving around this track on a consistent basis. You know, at times it can be hard to do, even for the best of them. So you are watching round 8 of the North American Grand Prix Assetto Corsa GT2 Thursday Night Racing League, coming to you live from the Macau circuit in Macau. We are currently watching third place driver, the wonder from down under, Aaron Parsons, who started about mid-pack and has steadily just kind of made his way up, either through attrition or overtakes. Brad Maris coming up on Jeremy Bryant. Jeremy Bryant And again, you know, unless somebody just kind of rolls over and gives you the spot, it's kind of hard to pass here. So, no doubt Jeremy Bryant seeing the blue flag, just perhaps waiting for an opportune time to wait to let Brad Maris by. There it is. Nicely done for Jeremy Bryant. So Brad Maris now with a little bit of clear track ahead of him can perhaps just kind of put his nose to the grindstone and put his head down, his foot on the accelerator, and maybe make up some time to third place Aaron Parsons. It's going to be a hard job to do as pit rotations are going to start to come up here soon, folks. Brian Mongrain out there running unchallenged in 5th. Mike Greatrix also unchallenged in 6th. Jack Ivey out there alone in 8th. Now Merriman coming by with a 2:30.788. There's your race leader, Al Merriman. Oh, Al getting into the barrier is going to give Jon Ludden an opportunity to get by him. Unfortunately, I can't see too much the damage that these cars endure. Wow, that is just an instance of misfortune here for Al Merriman. And man, oh man. Al getting into the barrier on one of the last turns before the start-finish line. Handing the lead over to Jon Ludden. Jon Ludden also having to check up, getting sideways just as Al was into the barriers. So, yeah, Jon Ludden now inheriting the lead. Al Merriman now having to work that steering wheel fairly hard. I can't help to think that perhaps those tires may be starting to wear something. Another little bobble is going to now give Jon Ludden, your race leader, a better advantage. David Poole, who I believe has done his pit stop, was running 3rd, now back in 9th. Aaron Parsons running 3rd, Brad Maris in 4th, and Brian Mongrain now up to 5th. Mike Greatrix running at 6th, Jeremy Bryant at 7th. Jack Ivey running in the top 10th and 8th, David Poole 9th, Matt Taylor 10th. Tom Schubeck in 11th. So we've got 11 drivers here. This track certainly plays no favorites to anybody. You either got it or you don't. And if you don't got it, you know what? You pack it up and go home. Test your mettle someplace else. This is not the track for you. So your race leader Jon Ludden is out there now opening up that gap to Al Merriman, and Al Merriman falling back I'm pretty sure it has to do with tires, folks. That's my best guess at this point. These guys have been going at it for some laps, racing hard. And as I said earlier in the broadcast, these tight streets of Macau certainly put a lot of lateral G-forces on the tires, and the wear and tear is something awful. Jack Ivy pulling over to let Jon Ludden by. So my guess here is that everything is perhaps going to come down to pit strategy and just how much damage these guys have, and whether or not they elect to repair the damage, which can take some time. And Mike Greatrix goes into the pits. Jon Ludden stays out. So Greatrix is now into the pits. As Mike Greatrix gets service. Oh, your race leader Al Merriman brings it in as well. Bjorn Heyman in the pits. So we are going to, let's see, Jon Ludden, Aaron Parsons, Al Merriman still holding in third now. Brad Maris comes through the pits, and Al Merriman is off. Al gonna come out in fourth. Brad inheriting third. Mongrain still out there in fifth. Now, so your race leader, Jon Ludden, currently running first after the bobble by Al Merriman, and those two nearly getting tangled up there, but I would think that your race leader perhaps is going to have to come in this lap. To get service to that vehicle. So we're going to keep it here with Jon Ludden, your race leader, see what he decides to do at the end of this lap. So I know that he's got to know that that Al Merriman, Brad Maris have both pitted, and it's just he and Aaron Parsons who are out there first and second that have not. So will that strategy pay off? We have yet to see. We have yet to see. Oh, and Jon Ludden going to keep it out there to try and increase the gap between him and third and fourth place. Bjorn Heyman out of the race. So Brad Maris running in third and Al Merriman in fourth. If Al starts to drive like he was in the first stint, boy, I got to tell you that he'll probably be putting a lot of pressure on Brad Maris if he can close that gap. Parsons running in second place, Jon Ludden in first. Trying to gauge the gap between these two drivers is a matter of seconds. And not many. So this is about a 5 second, 5.5 second gap between first and second right now. Which around these streets could be made up fairly quickly if you run consistent lap times. So Ludden into the hairpin turn. Parsons into the hairpin turn. These two are 1 and 2 right now. Not sure if they're going to give it a go going into the pits. Jon Ludden now coming down the backside of the circuit. Turn 23 for Jon Ludden. Let's see if he takes it into the pits this time around. And no, Jon Ludden gonna keep it out there another lap. And so is Aaron Parsons. Jon Ludden with a 2:33.15. Aaron Parsons is going to come across the line with a 2:29.954. So Aaron Parsons certainly the faster of the two. But can he close the gap in time before they make their pit stops? Jon Ludden and Aaron Parsons right now battling it out for the first and second spot. And while there is about a 4-second gap between 1 and 2, these drivers are throwing it. They are laying it all out there. Both in want of a race win here at the Thursday night Assetto Corsa GT2 League. So we're going to take it back for a quick second. Brad Maris in third, Al Merriman in fourth. Still also about a 4, maybe 3.5, 4-second gap between these two. So nothing's changed much there. Brad holding consistent pace, as is Al. On board with your race leader, Jon Ludden. Coming up to the hairpin. Jon Ludden in and out quick. Can't catch a glimpse of Aaron Parsons on the far end in the background, so the gap must be significant at this point. Will your race leader pit this time around? And he stays out. Aaron Parsons stays out. Man, I wish I had a lap archive to determine if these guys already did pit. I doubt that they pitted. So you can see Jon Ludden having just made the turn up ahead. So yeah, that gap is about 5 seconds between Aaron Parsons and your race leader, Jon Ludden. We're going to have to take it back here for a second. So Brad Maris running in the third spot. Al Merriman coming across with a 2:28.691. Al now the owner of the fastest race lap for this session here in Macau. And that lap right there has certainly allowed him to close the gap to P3 Brad Maris. So we have a battle ensuing here. So Jon Ludden still out there running in first. Coming up on Mr. Mongrain. Looking back at Jon Ludden working the shifter in his steering wheel. And now on the hood cam. Will he bring it into the pits? And no, he's going to stay out yet again. Taking it back to Aaron Parsons. No, that's Brian Mongrain. Aaron Parsons now into the pits. So that is confirmation. That is confirmation that Mr. Ludden has yet to pit. I guess Jon Ludden, if he's got no damage on that car slowing him down, and I don't think that he does, is perhaps hoping for a perfect pit stop, maybe this lap, to get in and perhaps try and get out ahead of second place Brad Maris. So, Jon Ludden, Brad Maris, Aaron Parsons, Al Merriman, and Brian Mongrain round out your top five. Your second five: Mike Graytrix, Jeremy Bryan, Jack Ivey, Tom Schubeck, and David Poole. Now, Poole, Matt Taylor, and Houston, I haven't seen these guys out on the track at all. So it could be that we are just down to 9 cars running. Oh, a little bit of a lockup there by Jon Ludden. Oh, and we are in a heated battle here with Al Merriman and Aaron Parsons. So let's take it here, as I'm sure that Jon Ludden might be looking to pit this lap. We're going to take it off of the race leader and bring you some live dogfight action here from the streets of Macau. Oh, Al taking it a little bit wide, having to slow down. Aaron Parsons gonna get a little breathing room there. Come on, Al, keep it consistent. Yeah, I know it's easier to say I'm up here in the broadcast booth watching you, and you're down there working that wheel, so I know how that's like. But Al certainly giving it his all. Al running in 4th and Aaron Parsons in 3rd. As they come around turn number 23. Has Jon Ludden pitted yet? We should be able to tell as they go by. Oh, we see that Jeremy Bryan made his way into the pits, and it looks like Jon Ludden is still out there. This might definitely shake up the point standings because we're going to have to take a look and see what's what. Al Merriman, Aaron Parsons still in the heated battle, but Brad Maris, who's currently holding the lead in the driver championship with 134 over Jon Ludden in second with a 107, and Chris Moses in third with a 105. Al Merriman sit in fourth with 68. In the team championship, Precision Motor Racing is out front with 161. Suspect Speed Racing, 137 points. That's Sela Montgomery and Ty Guyen. Gotta go by in third with 135. So we still got a tight race with 2 rounds left to go after Macau. Jon Ludden finally makes his way into the pits. Oh, not exactly sure. Did he overshoot his pit stop? It might be that he did. As Brad Maris is now going to come by. Brad is going to inherit the lead. So Aaron Parsons going to remain in third as Jon Ludden manages to get out before Aaron Parsons swoops by him on the pit straight. Boy, what a turn of events this has turned out to be. Oh, and it looks like I lost Al Merriman. Did Al drop off of the server? It's quite possible. Well, Al is in the pits. Not sure if he decided to pull it off, which he might have. Al did go through his pit rotation. Bjorn Heyman is out. Ryan Mongrain now going to take it out. Mike Ratrix into the pits, running in 6th. Shubes running in 9th. And Ivy in 8th. So Brad Maris inheriting the race lead by jumping the folks in the pit. So pit strategy, at least from Brad Maris's perspective, has worked in his favor. Now, whether or not he planned it that way is yet to be seen, and if he wins this race, we'll certainly try and pull him up here into the broadcast booth to get a few words in with Brad, or whoever that race leader might be, because this race is not over until the fat lady has sung. So we will have to see. Brad Maris, your race leader, is now out there all by his lonesome. Jon Ludden in P2 and Aaron Parsons in P3. Parsons taking a little wide. Almost finds himself in the barrier, but maintains his composure and brings it back under control. So Tom Schubeck is out there running at ninth, pretty much unchallenged. And he is not making any challenges right now for any positions. He's got Jack Ivey, Jeremy Bryant, Mike Gratrix ahead of him. Mike Gratrix putting in a great show here tonight. He is running in fifth. Although it shows him in sixth position, that is not the case. He has moved up to fifth. Brian Mongrain in fifth. Well, looks like Al Merriman has pulled it off and has left the race behind. Jeremy Bryant, P7. So it's Brad Maris, Jon Ludden, Aaron Parsons. That's your podium as it stands right now, guys. And we're going to try and get you up there with some of these faster. Oh, Jeremy Bryant spinning it in P7. Your race leader, Brad Maris. Not too far behind him, Jon Ludden. So now Jon Ludden is going to look to be putting pressure on Brad Maris. As this close battle starts to get even tighter. The pass is made. Was that a here you go move by Brad Maris, or we are not exactly sure what happened there, but we did see the pass made by Jon Ludden on Brad Maris. Now Jon Ludden inheriting the lead, or is this some sort of strategy by Brad Maris, giving up the position and now starting to put pressure on Jon Ludden, maybe save a little something for a late race charge? Or does Jon Ludden genuinely have pace over Brad Maris, and Brad Maris figured, I'm not going to fight you on it. Go ahead and take the spot. I'll get, oh, it is that Brad Maris is coming into the pits. Some guys are going to move up a spot here. Aaron Parsons up to P2 with not too much time left to go here. So Jon Ludden out there kind of running by his lonesome. So the running order: Jon Ludden in first, Aaron Parsons second, Brad Maris in third, Brian Mongrain running in fourth, Mike Greatrix in fifth, Jeremy Bryan in sixth, Jack Ivey in seventh, and Thomas Schubeck in eighth. And I believe, folks, that those are the running cars that we have. We are down to 8 running cars. As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, this track, it's not for the weak of heart. If you don't got what it takes to make it here in Macau, man, you know what? Best to just stay out of that very hot kitchen, because this track is a very demanding track. It requires 100% focus on the driver's part, and you got to know what the car is doing beneath you. Parsons running in P2. So, yeah, it looks like we are down to these last few laps, guys. Not a whole lot going on in terms of battles right now, so we're just gonna keep cycling through some of these guys and see what they're up to. As I stated, everybody driving a BMW, nobody in the Ferrari or in the Corvette for tonight's race. So Brad Maris running in third spot. Mike Greatrix gonna let Brad go by easily. Thanks for that, Mike. Ludden able to open up a very comfortable gap between he and second place. I guess he figures if he can just keep on keeping on, he will just make it to the finish and finish in first, and that is the hope of every driver here. Race leader. Ludden, Parsons, Maris, 1, 2, and 3. Maris now putting down the race hot lap with a 228.655. So these positions, guys, they're just pretty much spread out throughout the track right now. And everybody that has come this far right now is just looking to finish this race and earn some valuable points, because we've only got but 8 cars running, and they are going to be earning some really valuable points here tonight. Your race leader, Jon Ludden, comes across the line with 228. Aaron Parsons still running in second, the wonder from down under. Jeremy Bryan in sixth. Brad Maris in third. Mike Gratrix in fifth. Schubeck in ninth. Well, I believe Schubeck is in eighth, actually. He may be several laps down. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm showing him in eighth. Not exactly sure why the side system shows him in ninth. Ryan Mongrain running in fourth. Mr. Jack Ivy. Race leader Jon Ludden still out front, guys. We are going to keep it on board here with your race leader Jon Ludden as we take a 30-second break. And thanks for hanging in there, guys. We are back. Still on board with your race leader, Jon Ludden. Aaron Parsons running, well, not so close second, but he is running second. Brad Maris in third. As this race is starting to wind down, we are 29 laps in of 40. So if our calculations are right, then we've got about another 11 laps to go. My former broadcast partner, Jack Ivy. Jack Ivy running in 7th spot. Driving the BMW Power M3 E92. Oh, Jack finding the outside wall. Oh, that does not look good. And Jack's night is over. Jack's night is over. That's it. He's done. A little bit of bad luck there, so Jack now going to drop out. And Mike Ratrick's going to, let's see, Thomas Schubeck, and Tom Schubeck will move up now to P7. So we are now down to 7 cars left running. And we are still bringing you the action. This is an endurance race for sure, folks. An endurance race, those that can make it to the end will gain the prize. Great Tricks back in the pits. What's going on? Oh boy, don't tell me that Great Tricks is out as well. So your race leader out there kind of like all by himself, man. Jon Ludden, having persevered this one, he's just got to keep it together for a few more laps. Oh, and Mike Ratrix is going out. Good to see Mike still out there. Where's our buddy, Tom Schubeck? He's currently running in 7th. Oh, and what is this going on ahead of him? Oh, we've got a battle for 6th. Oh, and I know my buddy Tom Schubeck. Thomas Schubeck is saying to himself, yeah, I'll grab those points away from you if you want to give them up. Jeremy Bryant trying his best to skedaddle out of Schubeck's sight. So we got a bit of a dogfight here towards the end of the race. Schub's trying to put the moves on Bryant. Mike Ratrix finding the wall. So Jon Ludden just kind of walking away with this one after the pit rotations took place and some attrition and folks dropping and bringing it back into the pits and deciding not to take it back out on track. This one certainly has proven to be one tough race. So, running order, Jon Ludden in 1st, Aaron Parsons in 2nd, Brad Maris in 3rd, Brian Mongrain in 4th, Mike Ratrix in 5th, Jeremy Bryant in 6th, Thomas Schubeck in 7th. That's it. We're down to 7 cars, guys. And certainly as anticipated, this has been a race for those that can endure and persevere. So no doubt we are winding down the last few laps here, guys. Lap 32 of 40. Aaron Parsons running in 2nd. Sunburst BMW. Mongrain in 4th. Harris in 3rd. Greatrix in 5th. What a great run for Mike Greatrix tonight in terms of position and points. Jeremy Bryant running in 6th. Tom Schubeck in 7th. Schubeck allowing the gap between he and Bryant to increase a little bit there. Back on board with your race leader, Jon Ludden, Mr. Endurance here at Macau tonight. Leader Jon Ludden, one half of the Robbers Dog Racing Team. Bjorn Heyman, the other half of that team. Bjorn unfortunately met with some bad fortune and has had to call it quits tonight. So your race leader comes by with a 2:30.9, and we will keep this going for a few more laps. "83 minutes in the books." Parsons running in 2nd. Brad Maris brings it around with a 2:31.1 in 3rd. Mongreen running in 4th. Greatrix running in 5th. So good run for Greatrix here tonight. Tom Schubeck and Jeremy Bryant still having a little bit of a battle of their own. Oh, and it looks like your race leader, Jon Ludden, is coming up on Schubeck. Parsons putting up a fast lap of 2:30 to Jon Ludden's 2:31. But is it enough this late in the race? We've only got a few laps left to go, folks. Only a few laps left to go. Schubeck pulls over, lets the race leader through. Again, we're winding these laps down here, folks. Oh, Jeremy Bryant gets caught out there. Oh, what is going to happen here? So your race leader having nowhere to go. Jeremy Bryant can't get through. Aaron Parsons is going to... He's going to get by. Is he going to give it back to Ludden? They're going to race this thing out to the end. Oh boy, now we got a race, guys. Unfortunately, Jeremy Bryant having to escape out. Couldn't get his car unstuck from the barrier. And Aaron Parsons, ever the gentleman, not wanting to take advantage of a situation, gives the first spot back to Jon Ludden. However, now we've got a race for first with a couple of laps left to go. Whew. Aaron Parsons just missing the corner of that barrier. Would have definitely put an end to his night had he caught it at that speed. So Ludden apparently able to pull out a bit of a gap over Parsons. Looks like Ludden's got the pace here tonight. He might just bring this one home. So Jon Ludden right back on his game, able to pull a gap on Aaron Parsons. And Brad Merritt still running in third. Mongrain in fourth. Mike Greatrix in fifth. And Shubes is in sixth. That's, man, wow. It has been a rough night for these guys. 40 laps. 40 laps, I say. Jon Ludden Aaron Parsons, and Brad Maris. Currently, your podium finishers. This has certainly been a long race night, folks. By far, no easy task for these drivers, as we are now down to 6 cars left in this race. I believe that we started with 18 or 19 drivers on the grid. We are down to 6. A testament to the daunting task of the Macau circuit. Not a track for everyone, and a track that certainly plays no favorites to anyone either. Either you've got what it takes to get around here safely and consistently, or if not, you're going to have to pack it up and go home. And as we have seen here tonight, there have been quite a few that have had to pack it up and go home, to the tune of that we only have 6 drivers left in this 250-kilometer race. Certainly a testament to the mettle of those that can survive. It's about a 5-second gap back to Aaron Parsons. Brad Maris running in 3rd there, unchallenged. Brian Mongrain also running unchallenged. Mike Greatrix unchallenged. And the Shoes Man in 6th. So with what I want to say is probably, I don't know, a couple laps left at most. Very hard to determine what's going on. On board with your race leader here, Jon Ludden, putting on a show here tonight. We've had some lead changes. It was Al Merriman and Jon Ludden from early on in this race at the drop of the green flag. And so to the spoils go the victor. And so, you know, Jon Ludden, having persevered and endured this long, arduous, and very tough race, if he can make it to the end here, just keep it clean, we'll receive the spoils. be the last lap as Jon Ludden makes his way down the front end of the circuit, sector 1, into turn 3. So we're riding on board with Jon Ludden, P1, your race leader. of 40 in the books, folks. No doubt these drivers want this one to be over and done with. 40 laps around the Macau circuit. This is certainly no easy task. And there is some relief. And the end is in sight for Jon Ludden, Aaron Parsons, Brad Maris, Ryan Mongrain, Mike Graytrix, and Tom Schubeck. I believe that's going to do it. What does he have? He has to go around one more time, it looks like. Yep, so this is it. This is the final lap. Jon Ludden, your race leader. We're going to stay here with him. And we are going to welcome him across the start-finish line for his victory. Well-deserved win for having endured all of the adversity of a very, very hard to tame track. The end in sight for Jon Ludden. Through turn 23 he goes. Last bit of stretch before the final turn 24. And that will do it. Jon Ludden, your race winner. Aaron Parsons going to come across the line in second. Tom Schubeck in sixth. Brad Maris making his way around in third. Brian Mongrain fourth. Mike Ratrix fifth. And that's pretty much going to be it. That is going to be it for us, folks. We're going to go ahead and get a hold of Jon Ludden. Let's go ahead and grab Jon real quick. And he'll be surprised. Jon Ludden, Ken up in the broadcast booth. Do you copy?
Yes, I do.
Sir, I have to give my hats off to you. That was one heck of a race. How do you feel?
Awesome. This is, probably the most difficult track, and I just feel great that I, got through it with very little damage and managed to win it.
Yeah, there was a huge fracas, I don't know, maybe 300 meters into this race, which of course you were far beyond because you started up front. But I got to tell you, just watching the race here, it seemed like it was certainly a test of endurance for you guys. What do you say to that?
Yeah, that's definitely true because right at the end, I was telling Bjorn, that I was physically getting tired, becoming fatigued. So it was really rough.
Well, I got to tell you, it's a well-deserved win. During the first stint, it was you and Al Merriman, and I got to tell you, I had such a blast broadcasting that. I'm certainly going to be uploading this rebroadcast, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Congratulations on your win. Very well-deserved. That was a true testament to your endurance and perseverance here tonight.
Thanks a lot, Ken.
You got it, buddy. I'll go ahead and drop you back down. So, folks, there you have it. Jon Ludden, your race winner, certainly a well-deserved win. I want to thank everybody for having watched the broadcast here tonight. Of course, we upload these onto the forum about 24 hours after the race has concluded, or Al will get it up tomorrow sometime. So, guys, thanks for joining. We appreciate your viewership. And just a quick shout out for house cleaning here. If you guys like what you see, the North American Grand Prix is completely donation supported. We don't charge for racing, it is free. But you know what? If you like what you see and you feel you want to contribute, go ahead and throw a couple of bucks our way. You can head on over to NorthAmericanGP.com, and there is a donation link up there on the upper right hand corner, and you can certainly make a donation there. We want to thank everybody once again for watching, and we'll do it again next week. Take care.